doing? Welcome to Elbert County Board of County Commissioners meeting. This is October 24th. It is now 9:02. So what we'll do, if we could get a roll call, please. Dallas?
Mr. Mayor? Here. Mr. Richardson? Here. Mr. Wilcox?
Here. At this time, I think we have Pastor Brian James. How you doing? Please. Prayer and a pledge, if you could.
Almighty God, we come before you today, and Lord, we just praise you for who you are, the King of Kings, and we thank you for what you've done, for making a way for us, Lord, through the wilderness of this crazy world. And Father, I thank you today for the freedom that we have and the soldiers that fought for that freedom, many giving up even their own lives. And Lord, you have led us to this place. And Father, the world looks to us, our nation, for hope, for support, for guidance. And just as you guided the hand of our founding fathers, Lord, I pray that you would guide our commissioners today as they wrestle with difficult and challenging situations that will affect our county for many generations to come. Lord, may your wisdom and grace be upon them. And Lord, I just lift up this county, the marriages, the families, the businesses, the children. Lord, you know everything. Nothing takes you by surprise. No one's above you, and nothing's too difficult for you. We just submit to you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Now on the agenda, I believe we have a few changes.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I move we accept the agenda as presented with the following changes. To the consent agenda, add D7, which would be the submission of this year's black and gray marijuana reimbursement grant, and D8, acceptance of an easement for maintenance on County Road 9. Also moving of action item H2, the consideration of a resolution requiring fire service fire district inclusion fee, up to discussion item number 3. I understand the staff is going to meet with fire chiefs to talk about that before the final consideration.
Second. Any discussion on that? No? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the consent agenda as amended.
Second. Sam, could we have those, the 2 additional items just put online so folks can see what was on consent?
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, on to elected officials, department heads, staff reports. Jerry, how are you?
I'm good. Good morning, Commissioners. Jerry Spear, Business on. No?
Nope, I don't think so. Little button on top.
There?
I think so.
Okay, great, thanks. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Jerry Spear, Director of Health and Human Services. So just a quick update, which is positive and good news. After a couple of years of working on an addition to our building, it was finally delivered this week. So everyone will see a new modular unit there. It came in 5 different pieces, and all 5 pieces as of yesterday are there. So now they are doing the work to finalize putting all that together, and then we'll have to do the additional work to for utilities and all of that. So hopefully anywhere between the end of November to the end of December, we'll be able to start utilizing that building. And it is primarily, we've got 15, I believe, offices in there, and then 1 conference room. So it's primarily just office space. And then we can go on to remodel the big kind of open area that we have for meeting spaces in our current building. So I just thought this is positive news. I'd share it with everyone, and we're excited. So.
Yeah, and the bulk of the funding was public health dollars. Or was it?
Yes. Yeah. So the the public health fund balance was used for the purchase, and then where you've got fund balance set aside in human services to do what the remodeling and the different work, and then over time I'll have to balance out the equity of that based on usage. Mm-hmm. Great. So thank you.
Thank you. We have a few more.
So I'll go next. Just a little a couple things, Commissioners. First, you acknowledge receipt of the draft budget and the consent agenda. Just to let you know about the next steps in that budget process, 30 October will be our work study session on that with the other elected officials and the directors. 14th of November, which is the next BoCC meeting, we'll do a final presentation of the draft budget, and then 19 December will be the public hearing on the budget, and that's the schedule going forward on budget. The other thing I want to mention is that Road and Bridge has continued to work closely with partners in the county. They recently received a plaque from the Double L Conservation District, recognizing them. I'll just read the plaque: Elbert County Road and Bridge 2018 Living Snow Fence Partnership. So our Road and Bridge guys are working with Double L and putting up living snow fences where we can in order to decrease maintenance time on those roads. So, and with that, I think we've got one other announcement. Justin?
Thank you. I'd like to introduce our new finance manager that we brought on. Her name is Michelle Cherote, and we are very excited to have her aboard, and we look forward to what she brings to the finance department. And at this point, our finance department is fully staffed, and we are ready to begin the January 2019 year with a fully staffed finance department. So we look forward to that. Michelle, if you don't mind, I'd like you to introduce yourself and kind of tell people where you come from.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm losing my voice a little, so I'll keep it short and sweet. My name is Michelle Cherote. I recently came from Great Outdoors, Colorado, which is a political subdivision of the state. Been doing all of their finance and accounting items there under the controller. I have a little bit of a background in audit, tax, and general accounting, and I'm super excited to be joining the team here. If you have any additional questions, please let me know.
Welcome.
Thank you.
No resident of the county, and her drive is much shorter than what it was to go to GoCo. So.
Yeah.
I think that's all the announcements.
Is that all you got? Okay. All right. Have anything up here? Thank you. Okay, on to open public comment. If we could, these comments are for anything unrelated to items under discussion or action, because you'll have the opportunity to comment at that time. So, do we have any open public comment on? All right, on to the next. Let's go to discussion. First one up on discussion is the Elbert County Strategic Plan. Sam.
Take that mic back. So, Commissioners, as you know, we've been working on the strategic plan for almost since I got here. I think it was the day after I got here. I was told that was going to be one of the fun things I got to do. We are at the point where we are presenting the draft strategic plan. We're going to ask for adoption of the strategic plan on the 14th of November. These should be in the packet, not only the draft strategic plan itself, but also the PowerPoint that I'm getting ready to walk through. So let's talk a little bit about what this presentation is going to look like. We'll talk about overall planning in Elbert County. We'll talk very briefly about what a strategic plan is, maybe a little bit about what it isn't, why strategic planning is important, the approach that we took on this Elbert County strategic plan, and then the vision, mission, and values, and the goals, and then next steps, and kind of wrap up from there.
So, planning in Elbert County. Elbert County currently has many plans, and we reference them quite a bit here. There's two primary documents that will guide much of what we do in the county. One is that Elbert County Comprehensive Plan, which we finished in April. The other is the this plan, which is the Elbert County Strategic Plan. Both documents involve staff and stakeholder input. Now, I want to talk about that comprehensive plan for just a second. That was completed in April after a long public involved process. It covers land use, growth, economic development, resources, housing, and transportation. Those are the major elements and segments of that comprehensive plan, and that work will continue as we develop other plans below that will tie back to that document. And it'll do that planning in all those areas. The strategic plan, the document we're here to talk about today, was completed now in October after another long internal and external process, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. It covers more of the internal, how we direct staff, how we guide staff, what staff should be working for, how we get staff to think outside of operational day-to-day and even annual work plans, and moving into longer range planning, what's best for the county as we move forward. The two documents should not conflict in any way, either the strategic plan or the comprehensive plan. They should be complementary, but there is a different focus. That comprehensive plan is more of a external looking document on how the county is going to develop, and that strategic plan is more of an internal document. First of all, let me just back up and talk about what a strategic plan is. It's an organization's process for defining its strategy or direction and making decisions on allocating the resources that we have to pursue that strategy. A strategic plan is the document that captures that process in writing and provides leadership, the vision, mission, and goals to move an organization forward. So strategic planning, strategic thinking, whatever you want to do that's where we figure out where we want to go and how we want to get there. The plan is the document and the tool that helps us implement that. Why is strategic planning important? It's important to an organization because it provides a sense of direction and outlines the measurable goals for staff to meet. It's a tool that's useful for guiding that day-to-day decisions and also for evaluating progress and changing approaches when moving forward. Here's a visual. You can have, this comes from my Air Force days, you know, you can have all the thrust and no vector, you really don't know where you're going. That strategic plan provides you the direction where we should be focusing our efforts, where we have all our ducks in a row, where we have everything lined out and we're all looking at the same target down range in order to make sure that we are adequately using and correctly using resources to get there. Here's another way of saying it. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there, right? Famous quote from Alice in Wonderland. Goal setting not only shows you the road that you should be taking, but gives you the map on what that end direction and that end goal is going to be. That's why strategic planning is important. One more quote here. A goal without a plan is just a wish. And I would caveat that if you don't write down your plan, it doesn't do you any good. So this document is the written version of that plan and will help us, instead of just wishing that things were better, will actually help us get to where we want to go. Having a plan focuses staff and leadership. We can very easily, and I've done strategic planning for 20 years, I have given this sort of presentation to a lot of national and international organizations. We can very easily default to our day-to-day operational issues and lose sight of the big pictures because it's easier to do. It's much easier to figure out what we're going to be doing this week than to look into the future 2, 5, 7, 9 years and figure out how we're going to get to that unknown destination with all the factors that impact that. So, the other little piece of this is every successful person I know has more on his plate than he can do, but you've got to strategize, you've got to put strategy at the top of your agenda and I'll be implementing this with the directors and hopefully working very closely with the elected officials that we actually spend time at the top of the agenda and talking about strategy. So, how did we come up with a strategic plan for Elbert County? The vision, mission, and goals were actually started before I got here, and I believe the values were hammered out there too. There were work study sessions, town halls, other regular meetings where progress was reported. I know that strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats were, little work was done on that before I got here. What I did after I got here was put out a survey to staff and volunteers about the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I gathered that data, and then we also, with every tax bill that went out, we did a citizen engagement survey, and it was sent to, we also promoted that by social media and in the BoCC meetings, and we got about 600 responses from that. And we asked questions like, what are your most important concerns? How can we, what's your interface with staff been like? Those type of questions. So we got some good information back from that. We also looked at additional resources, including growth projections from the State Demographer's Office. We looked at past budgets. We projected forward some financial information. We looked at the organizational chart. We looked at other counties' organizational charts and other counties' strategic plans to make sure that we were not missing anything and that our plans were in a format that would be recognized by other municipalities. And then we worked really hard on strategies, strategic objectives, and then we developed those under each goal. This has been a primary focus for Justin and I since he got here too. We've been working very closely on that. I appreciate all the support that we've got from the directors and the elected officials in reviewing the documents and having discussions with them. I think today we're going to show you a pretty good plan. So we talk a lot about vision, mission, goals, and strategies and that thing. The way to look at it is as a pyramid. Your vision is really your top of the pyramid. Mission should support everything the vision is doing. Those goals and strategies, again, are another layer down in the operation. And then strategic objectives, work plans, those at the very bottom, they support the entire pyramid in order to help us meet our mission. I often get questions on what the difference between a vision and a mission is. So the vision is what we want to see out here on the horizon for Elbert County. This is the 30,000-foot view of where we want to be and how we want to be there. The mission is the daily steps that we take, the things that we do every day to get us toward that vision, to get us up there close to the top where we want to see. And so that is my illustration of a definition between vision and mission. So, with that, as you know, on every agenda, we currently have a vision, mission, and values. The vision, we just tweaked the words just a little bit to read a little bit better. I had several grammar people tell me that the old version could read a little bit better. We've got all the same words in there. I will read that new one. Elbert County will be recognized by its citizens, employees as the best place to live, work, and conduct business in Colorado through responsive, effective, transparent, and professional management. The mission, we made no change to that because of all the work that was done previously. I'll read that real quick. Provide essential statutory services and supportive infrastructure to our citizens in a professional, respective, cost-effective manner while creating a working environment that supports their endeavors, Western lifestyle, and rights as individuals. Again, we've been using this for the past year or so on every agenda that we've had out there. Also out there is all the core values. We made no changes to those after I got here. It's part of the packet. I'm not going to go read that in essence of time. But if there are any questions on that, please let me know. Now we start getting into the meat. There's 5 goals in this strategic plan, and I think they are worth reading. 1 is to maintain and promote a financially sustainable county government that is transparent and effective. 2, ensure a qualified, trained, and efficient workforce. 3, deliver plans, updates, and status to citizens via multiple channels while ensuring open two-way communications. 4, plan for continuity of government in case of disaster, infrastructure, failure, or economic impacts. 5, support growth and economic activity in the county. Goals are generally set by the elected officials in the county, and that includes all the elected officials. And then staff underneath that will deliver the strategies and the strategic objectives. We have 15 strategies that are in that draft plan that are aligned with the goals, and they're aligned by number, so you can reference back very easily to what the strategies are. Those are going to be set by the elected officials and the county manager. Underneath that are those 26 strategic objectives. They again reference back to each of the strategies. They're aligned very closely with them. Those strategic objectives are set by the county manager, directors, and leadership within the elected official departments. So what's that process look like? Again, here's the vision at the center of any strategic plan. First of all, you have what we will be doing going forward. Well, let me just start here with develop goals. We developed those goals. We then looked at designing those strategic objectives, determine the strategic priorities, measure progress, and analyze results. Remember, this is a 9-year plan, so we're going to be looking at updating this annually, not only giving a report on where we are, we'll be doing continue to look at citizen input in a survey form on the goals, the successes, any new issues that pop up. Again, strengths, weaknesses, probably along the lines of SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We'll recommend revisions to that back to this, to all the elected officials if we have any changes or see any changes in goals. And you may see new strategies and strategic objectives pop up as we check things off the list and come up with new things. Again, this is a 9-year plan. Here's the #1 challenge in front of each of us, and that is one of my favorite slides to do in strategic planning. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. Change is hard. It's hard to break out of the operational mindset. It's hard to break out of the mindset where we have been working very hard in order to get our to get us to where we are today. Looking forward to the future, I think, is very worthwhile. But overcoming that culture, overcoming, and you've all heard it. Well, and you hear things like, "We've always done it this way." My mic not working. Just went red. Okay, so I'll be loud. You've always heard things like, "We've always done it this way." Well, and so that's the classic. The other classic is, "Well, we tried that once, but it didn't work." I'm going to be asking for leeway as we change. Really want me to use that. All right. We're going to be hearing things like those two items. We've always done it this way. We tried it once, and that didn't work. And I'm going to be asking for leeway as we work through this strategic plan to make sure that we get the implementation and meet those goals and work toward that vision that we have all agreed to do today. In closing, I just want to mention that I am very passionate about strategic thinking and strategic planning. It's critical to an organization's long-term success. You guys and the county and the other elected officials have worked hard to start thinking about what ifs. What if the economy turns? What if the state demographer's population growth is really true? What if, with respect to water and transportation, and that new comp plan takes care of some of that? All I can promise at this point in time is we're going to continue to move forward. You and the citizens should expect transparency in our operations and future planning. Should expect annual updates and status reports showing our progress. Expect us to reach out to citizens and find out how we're doing and how to better communicate and plan for the future. And we will meet this vision. And with that, that's the end of my presentation.